has unfortunately been changed.
Oh, thank God! I thought I showed up to the wrong show. Jesus.
No, we changed it. We got a little we had a little problems with
Apparently, Splash Page was too good of a title that everybody wound up using it.
yeah,
So
and the people who use it the most,
can outsue us.
MTV. Yeah, they can outsue us. So we don't have big lawyers in our pockets. So we're going to call the show Between the Pages. So that's the new title of the show. And
So
I
welcome, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to Between the Pages,
New
the
digs.
first official episode of Between the Pages.
That's right. We got new digs.
We got new digs. Well, the digs are kind of the same, and you'll notice we have video.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
We're still working on some other things. We'll hopefully have some other cool things for you down the road, but some technical difficulties. We're gonna probably try to show you the Avengers trailer, but we're not gonna have some audio, so we're gonna talk over the images, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Now we do have a couple of surprises tonight too. We're gonna do something that we've never done on this show before.
That's right, because audio doesn't work for that.
No audio doesn't work for that. Well, unless you want to just hear the rustling and the slice of the knife.
Oh, wait,
and...
this is cool. What? Ow, son of a bitch.
Yeah. I'm bleeding.
Call
Anyway.
an ambulance!
We should probably introduce ourselves. I'm Richard Cleveland, and as always with me, my inimitable co-host,
Jason Bishop.
Jason Bishop. And we are brought to you by...
Words and Pictures.
Absolutely. And where can people find Words and Pictures here in our hometown?
Well, here in Calgary, you can find us on 2610 Center Street, Northeast in Calgary. Phone number is 403-282-8870. We have file services, games, comics, toys, statues, you name it. If we don't have it, we'll find it for you. So come check us out. It's largest selection of back issues in the city as well. So
Excellent.
lots of cool stuff.
And I can attest to that. They have the largest selection of back issues in the city. Now, we've got a few things on our plate today, but there's one thing we should get out of the way before we get started. And unfortunately, there was a death in our community once again.
Yes, unfortunately, the great Golden Age artist Sheldon Moldoff has passed away at the age of 92. He harkens back all the way to Action Comics #1, where he did a filler page on the back cover of the issue, the very famous first issue of Superman. So he goes back right to the beginning of superheroes. And he also ghost artist on a lot of Batman issues for Bob Kane.
Right. And he was 92 years of age, so he lived a long and prosperous life, and he will sorely be missed in the community of artists and writers and the comic book community in general. Now, we've got some really interesting news that came out of DC 52 this week.
Well, yeah, one of the big talk is, new logos are adorning this week's issues.
Right.
Starting this week. We've seen a lot of mock-ups and things like that. They had some smoke coming out of the logos and things like that on the mock-ups. And then they went with the really boring one. So, hopefully they'll get that figured out. But yeah, if you're looking at the DC issues this week and then make you go, that would be the new logo.
That would be the new logo. Okay.
But the other one was Shazam is going to be returning in Justice League as a backup feature in issue #7. He is no longer Captain Marvel. Apparently DC is tired of giving Marvel free advertising, and he's just going to be known as Shazam, and he's going to be wearing a hood-like cape rather than the high collars that he had before.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw the picture of it earlier, and I was actually quite taken by it. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I think I'm going to miss him being called Captain Marvel, but I think most people thought his name was Shazam anyway, so...
Well, there you go.
It's a new universe, new rules. If you still liked him as Captain Marvel, those issues are still out there, too.
They're still out there.
So,
okay.
You won't miss it.
You won't miss it. Well, that's okay. If we don't miss it, we're okay.
That's right. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what this new version of Shazam Captain Marvel is going to be.
It looks like it could be an interesting... I mean, the look of him now with the hood, it's kind of...
Looking darker.
Yeah, it looks very dark,
Less Superman ripoff.
less Boy Scout.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if he's going to have that same Billy Batson sensibilities.
Yeah, this one looks like if you called him Big Red Cheese, he was going to punch you in the face.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know.
Now, you wanted to talk about Howard Chaykin's
Yeah,
published a controversial book.
yeah. Back in '88, Howard Chaykin was kind of. He's always been a pioneer in our industry.
Right.
He's done lots of cool things, lots of spy books. American Flag is easily one of the best things published in the '80s. But hidden in the cracks was a book called Black Kiss. A lot of sexual content, which was rare in the '80s from a big artist like Howard Chaykin. You know, I wouldn't say it's in the porn territory, but it was racked with pornographic comics. Eventually, got collected and whatnot. These days, it kind of stands. You could probably just throw that in with the Vertigo book, and it wouldn't stand out too much. So he's announced a second volume for Black Kiss. Publisher still unknown. I suspect it will land at Image. But given what he had done with Black Kiss, I'm wondering how much further he's going to push Black Kiss 2. So it could be one to watch for, and you know, hopefully he's not going for controversy and just doing some good story, but it was one that pushed the envelope in the '80s,
Right.
So the envelope is a lot bigger and it's changed.
This is quite a span to do. You do a book in the '80s, and now you're trying to do a book in 2012.
Yeah, it's
as a follow-up to the original.
and that's a big span. So they're gonna have to get that first one out there back in trade,
Right.
which is I'm sure is coming here soon.
Yeah, re-release
the originals
of
are
the
hard
original
to
book,
get. Even the reprints are hard to get. So
Oh, wow. Now, I understand Matt Fraction is part of this team up as well. Because it's saying here, the new creator-owned series by Howard Chaykin and Matt Fraction.
Yes, no, that was actually him talking about at the con. He was talking about a new collaboration between them. It is
Okay.
unrelated from Black Kiss. Hasn't got a title yet, but Matt Fraction's doing some great stuff. Lots of great creator-owned books coming out through Image and Kickstarter.
Okay.
So that's probably still being held close to the vest, but we'll probably see announcements with about 6 months or so, I think.
All right.
My guess is, given Matt Fraction's attachment at Marvel, it's going to debut through the Icon line.
Okay. Now, it's saying here, as revealed by Talk Comics, the Howard Chaykin, as well as starting work on Black Kiss, which was described as absolutely disgusting, will be working on the new creator-owned series by with Matt Fraction.
Yeah.
So obviously Matt is working on this.
Yeah, maybe he's coming in as a scripter.
Who knows?
I'm not sure. The way I understood it was two different properties, but maybe it is Black Kiss.
It could be.
There's not a lot of information is coming out yet, but this could be one to watch.
If you are looking for more information on this, I encourage you to go to bleedingcool.com. Not our website, but they have. Looks like they have the latest news on what's happening with
Yeah, and
this
Rich
title.
Johnson's always got some good goo over there. So
Now, Marvel Infinite Comics. What is Marvel Infinite Comics?
good question. Just this week, Joe Quesada put out a teaser and said Infinite Comics is coming. I don't know what it is. Maybe they are giving up on numbering because they can't seem to get that right. Maybe it's in reference to some of the more successful event books, which would be Infinity Gauntlet,
Right.
Infinity War, Infinity Crusade, and Infinity. Maybe it's the amount of books that Bendis can write. I don't know. We don't know what Infinite Comics is. I suspect it's going to be something that comes along the heels of Avengers X-Men. Everything seems to be riding on this book right now.
Okay.
Bendis will be leaving the Avengers books after this arc at the end of the year. And now it looks like we're losing Jonathan Hickman on FF. So something's up. We got two of the architects leaving their books.
Right.
I think there's going to be a big reshuffling, possibly a complete reboot of their entire universe.
Much like they did in DC with 52.
Yeah, and I could see that happening. I'm not sure if they're willing to go that route, but all the elements are there. So keep in tune with the show, and as we know more, we will talk more about what this Infinite Comics is going to be. I suspect it's whatever this major reshuffling is going to be a part of that.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I'm reading the top 10 here as we're talking, and number 10 is what this Infinity book might be about, is how long it will take Marvel to settle the Kirby lawsuit. That's been in the works for a long time.
Yeah.
Or how long will Joe Quesada stay at his job? That was number 9. So, and number 8, I got to read some of these.
Yeah, go for it.
How many roads must Ghost Rider drive down until they make a threequel? Yeah, I don't think. How many Warren Worthingtons threes can dance on the head of a pin? So, and how large is Greg Land's photo reference collection?
Oh, yeah, that's endless. Endless.
How many message boards Steve Wacker posts on? So they're having fun with this, and it looks like this...
Again, we got to give credit to Rich Johnson. That was off his site, and those are his jokes, so we don't want to take credit for something that isn't ours, but hopefully he doesn't mind us sharing that with you.
We get a lot of our information from this site, bleedingcool.com.
Yeah, he's good... good resource, along with Newsarama and etc. And my own inboxes.
Your own inboxes. Well, I think that if people are looking for more information, there's no harm in us telling them to go to bleedingcool.com.
No, anything spreading it around is good for the industry, and that's all we're about, is trying to make a healthier industry and make you more aware of what's out there.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on, we should let you know that you can find us at a brand new place.
Yes, we actually have a home.
We have a home now.
That's right.
Our home is Between the Pages at nakedapeprod.com. And if you are watching one of our streams tonight, we thank you very much for that. And we encourage you to go to the website. There's lots of great programming there, including our show, which now you can see in video.
Yes, we got the last episode up from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Some of our other backlog will go up hopefully sooner rather than later. And you'll be able to catch us there every couple of weeks until we wrap up to something a little more weekly. Right now we're going to be on a weekly schedule, or bi-weekly schedule.
Bi-weekly schedule, yeah, every second Tuesday.
But we'll try to get you out there once we get some interviews and things like that. So you might see us weekly.
Yeah, excellent. And if you've got any suggestions for the show, by all means, drop us an email at betweenthepages@nakedapeprod.com. So you can find us over there under
logo,
shows.
By the way.
What's that?
I can tell you, that's a cool logo on the website.
I like the logo, too. That was actually designed for Naked Ape Prod by a gentleman out of Colombia, South America. Yeah, he's a graphic artist, and his name is Ernesto Londano. And he does fabulous work. He's done some work for me on another show that I do on Friday nights over on Stickam. I won't mention the name of that show at this time, but if you're wandering around Stickam and you're looking for me, then you might be able to find me there Friday nights playing some great classic rock music.
That's right.
But other than that, you can definitely check out all the programming there. Between the Pages is there. Another show that you're unfortunately not part of, but it's another show that I do. It's called The PC Basement, and that's all about your technological life and how that works for you and how we can figure out the problems you might be having.
And the reason I'm not a part of that show is I destroy tech.
Yeah, tonight was a good example of that. Nothing worked.
My mere presence made everything. I'm the darkness in the force.
Everything worked when we were down here, when the whole crew was down here besides you. Everything was working fine. And then you showed up and nothing wanted to work. Yeah, everything kind of shut down.
This is why they won't let me near power stations.
No, we don't let them
shut down grids.
We don't let them behind anything that has a keyboard. So now let's move on to the Brian Bendis announcement. He'll be leaving his Avengers books by year's end. Now, writer Jonathan Hickman announced he's going to be leaving Fantastic Four, as we alluded to earlier, at number 661 and FF number
23.
23. Now, this is
This will again will be near the end of the year, so the timing is interesting. You know, it's gonna line up fairly close to Bendis's as well.
Right.
So again, what something might be up. Is Brubaker going to be leaving Cap? I know that's one of those books. You know, I thought you'd have to pry out of his cold dead hands. So is that going to be the next announcement? I mean, we're seeing the architects move along. Jason Aaron, nobody's mentioned it, but we already know he's leaving Wolverine as well.
right.
And that was his baby. So something's going on.
Something's definitely going on.
Something's up.
There's a big shuffle happening. And by all means, ladies and gentlemen, go check out all the news. If we haven't covered something, by all means, go over to bleedingcool.com. They've got all the great news over there as well. Now, Golden Age, we talked about the Golden Age DC artists. I'm running down the notes here because it was an hour before showtime that I got a chance to read them. So let's move on to the next topic because
Thank you for doing your homework.
Yeah, well, I produce so much stuff around here, man.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the return of Valiant Comics.
Yes.
Valiant Comics was really big in the 90s. They kind of came out quietly. They were doing these Nintendo books. Honestly, they're really tough to find. The Nintendo books, I think there's only a few thousand of each issue produced. And then they got the Gold Key licensing for Magnus Robot Fighter and Turok and Solar.
Okay.
And they launched their company with these 3 properties. Well, actually, at the beginning, it was just Solar and Magnus.
Right.
And started creating a new superhero universe out of these 2 old properties. Then we got Exo and Shadow Man. And this was Jim Shooter behind this. Bob Layton was behind a lot of things. Barry Smith, Windsor Smith did some work for them.
Right.
Joe Quesada, who I don't know if anybody have heard of him. Kind of running Marvel right now.
Yeah.
He got his early work over there with Exo Man of War #0. There's great chromium cover. And then the market kind of collapsed. Acclaim bought Valiant, brought the properties mainly to develop into video games.
Right.
Sadly, they didn't make very good ones. And their company, Acclaim, went tits up, and so did the publishing arm. Along comes a few other people, bought the trademarks and copyrights, and they're finally, years after getting that settled, are ready to launch a new company. First book was announced. We've talked about it before. Was Exo Man of War
Right.
with Carrie Nord. 2 new books were announced since we were last on the air. We got in June. We've got Harbinger coming.
Harbinger, yes.
We still don't know when Bloodshot's coming, but we know that's going to be part of the lineup. And I suspect the next big announcement's going to be Shadow Man. Now, these are going to be a lot different, I think, from their original published books. Exo looks like it's this big warrior alien armor thing.
Right.
It's hard to say what it's going to look like yet. Damn, we should have lined that up. Actually, I should have found a YouTube thing of it. We got these promo posters in the shop recently, and you get the QR code
Right.
for your iPhones and other Androids, etc. Stick your phone on top of the poster where the mouth is, and you get the animated mouth, and he gives off this big speech.
Oh, wow.
And it does seem reminiscent to the old concept where he had this man out of time in this alien armor. He was this barbarian dude in this high-tech armor.
Right.
And it still feels like that. So, I don't know. It was a really cool promo. Looking forward to seeing it. Our first look's going to be on Free Comic Book Day, because that'll be the Valiant Free Comic Book Day offering. Shortly after that, the book will be launching. June, we have Harbinger. This looks like a radical departure from the original concept, but we still got Toya Harada coming in on that book, the
Right.
big villain from the Valiant universe. And I imagine they'll be doing more setups from these books.
Okay.
Sadly, the Gold Key licenses for Turok and Magnus and stuff are over at Dark Horse at the moment.
I see.
They're doing all the reprints, and they recently wrapped up some their own initiative to try to relaunch these characters, which didn't do too well, unfortunately, but may lend themselves well to a new license, or maybe Dark Horse licensing them out to Valiant. And I
Sure.
hope you guys are listening. It's not quite the Valiant universe without these guys, so bring them back home.
Excellent. Now, I'm looking at some of the art from this book, and it seems very reminiscent of the art that we're finding in a lot of the books today. It's very cell shaded. It's
They're
almost
definitely
it
going
almost
modern
has a
look.
painted feel to it.
Yeah.
And the artwork is good. It's solid. It's, the coloring is solid. It's not too washed out that you can find with some of that painted look.
Yeah.
They're vibrant. The panels seem to flow really well. So I would suggest that when these books do hit on Free Comic Book Day, by all means, go check them out.
Try them out. It's a free book, and if you like it, buy the big one. Buy the number ones and check them out. Valiant, when it launched, was known for pushing the boundaries of coloring. They were literally the first to start doing computer coloring.
Right.
And I still like the style of it, just looking dated now. But they were the innovators, and I'm thinking they're wanting to continue that. And hopefully the books look as good as the digital previews do right now.
Right. Well, the digital previews look good. And again, when is Free Comic Book Day for those people who don't know?
That is the first Saturday in May.
First Saturday in May.
Don't have a calendar in front of me, but I'm sure you guys can figure out what that means.
Yeah.
First Saturday in May, it's a fun time. Go to your local shops, especially mine.
Which is?
Words and Pictures.
There you go.
I'm not gonna keep plugging it, but go to your local shops wherever you happen to be. It's a fun time. Bring the kids. It is mainly for kids, so
Okay.
there's usually a lot of all ages stuff, but there's definitely stuff for the grown-ups as well. I know Vertigo has a non-official offering.
Okay.
And that's going to be the girl with dragon tattoos. So, for
Interesting.
you grown-ups who like the Stieg books, check it out. Or even if you haven't read the books, you've probably seen the movie by now.
The good or the bad movie?
Where's the bad movie? I thought they were both good.
I heard the American one wasn't that hot.
The reviews were pretty good. I don't know how kind of.
You know how reviews go. The reviews are really good. The audience is really down.
Yeah.
Or if the audience is really up, the reviews are really bad.
Yeah, they're usually one way or the other.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I honestly don't see Fincher making a bad movie of it, so I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either, so I'm not going to make any predictions on what it is.
I'm very curious to see what the comic book's going to look like. I've only really seen the cover, which was in the Vertigo preview a couple of weeks ago, but nice cover.
Nice cover.
We got Leo Manco doing the artwork inside. I mean, everything says it's going to be a nice looking book.
Right.
Vertigos can be a tough sell at times, and they haven't really ventured into licensing too much as far as doing movie books and books on books. So we'll have to wait and see. But a lot of literary works are being adapted into comics these days, so might as well go for some of the big boys.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, and that's a good catch for them.
Now, speaking of movies, there was a recent release on DVD and Blu-ray.
That's right.
And that would be Justice League Doom, which tells the story of Batman's private collection of files on his Justice League members and the chaos that ensues when somebody gets a hold of those.
That's right. And if this sounds familiar, it's loosely based on the Tower of Babel story that ran in the JLA book by Grant Morrison. If you remember, it was Prometheus. This is a radical departure. It's not a strict adaptation of the material like some of the other direct-to-video animations have been. It's still wonderful. They wound up modernizing it to really go in line with the new Justice League. So the lineups, you have a lot of familiar guys. Martian Manhunter's still in there, but Cyborg's been introduced.
Right.
The costumes are a wee bit more reminiscent of what they're wearing now.
In Young Justice?
No, in the comic books.
Oh, okay.
In the Justice League comic books.
Okay.
So, it's a nice bridge the gap of old and new. But
now,
it's still a really entertaining story.
I have heard that Andrea Romano did the voice casting for this, and she brought back some of the big names: Michael Rosenbaum as the Flash, Kevin Conroy as Batman, Tim Daly as Superman.
It's pretty much her whole Justice League cast, and Tim Daly didn't actually do Justice League, but he did do the original Superman.
He did the Superman animated series.
So it's good to see him back in that part. Different Green Lantern this time around. It's no longer John Stewart. We got Hal Jordan back in the driver's seat,
That's true.
who is the returning Nathan Fillion from the previous Green Lantern release just last year.
Animated releases, yeah.
That's right.
And we all know that Nathan is a Canadian and hails from
Edmonton.
Edmonton. Yes, so it's good to see a Canadian doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, there were so many. I mean, if you guys are into science fiction and the old cartoons, I mean, you had all your returning Justice League cast that she loves so much. But on the flip side, with the Legion of Doom, there's a lot of sci-fi guys in there. Claudia
Sure.
Black from Farscape, and
Right.
there's just it's like a who's who in there.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list of things to watch, and I'll be watching it after the show tonight.
It's really good.
Now, we also have another movie coming out that I'm really looking forward to, and that is the big announcement: The Avengers.
What?
What?
What's the Avengers?
Well, that's
this is
that's
actually-
the culmination of all those movies that we've seen from Marvel lately, that have turned into its own franchise.
Absolutely, and I'm sure everybody's been following this pretty closely. We had the teaser footage a little while ago, and then we got leaked a little bit more during the Super Bowl. And just last week, we got released the big new trailer, and it is all over the place.
So we're going to run the
Lots of
trailer,
super
and I'm
cool
going to
stuff.
we'll talk about it as we run
Yeah.
the trailer here.
I don't have a video in front of me, so I'm gonna.
Maybe
to-
maybe we can turn around that laptop there, and you can have a look
All right.
as soon as he gets it up and running. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any sound on this.
Yeah, that was the technical difficulties I was referring to earlier. So, enjoy the good visuals, and hopefully we'll have that fixed by next show. And next time we run a trailer, you'll get both of the
We're just setting it up
Aspects
now.
of-
Here we go.
commercials.
Okay, so we can go now, and we are go.
All right. This is kind of like the commercial audio
So I got black
commentary.
screen here. I don't know what you got there.
I got blackness.
Uh-oh. Welcome to our
And
technical There we go.
All right.
So we start with an opening scene over the city of destruction. I'm assuming this is New York.
Run, Forrest. Okay, carnage ensues. That's all right. Nick Fury. Lots more explosions.
They're shooting at something. Now, we've got a lot of people that have been in the previous
That's right. Some fast cuts here. Cap.
beating stuff up.
Yeah, and we're gonna get a lot of Cap fish out of water. I think in this movie.
You think so?
Well, this is gonna be right on the heels. I think of where Cap left off. Gotta tell you, I get shivers when I see the Hulk on the screen.
So do I. I thought
Right.
that this was well done. It's very reminiscent of the previous book.
Quinjet we
or the
just saw
previous
there.
movie, pardon me. And I think that we're going to see a Hulk like we haven't seen him before.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're having trouble getting him off on his own, but it's nice to see they're not giving up on him. He's a great character who deserves some screen time, but when you're kind of coming off that first movie, any movie that's trying to a franchise that gets going and has a rough start has a tough time keep going. You know, that second movie was great, but everybody still had in the back of their mind 5 years later about that first one, and I think that shadow was fell on that second one.
Now, what do you think of all of this fighting amongst the characters that we're seeing in this trailer? Like we're seeing them go at each other in a few shots. I'm not quite sure what that part of the story is all about.
Well, you know, you get superheroes together for the first time. It's something that happens in comics. You got to have them beat the crap out of each other first. Everybody needs a little bit of an attitude adjustment, and you know, Hulk doesn't really play well with others, so he's going to probably beat up everybody.
But although in the trailer we see him rescuing Tony Stark in the Iron Man outfit as he's falling from the sky.
Well, I think they kissed and made up at that
Okay.
point. Ooh, Hulk slobber.
Ooh.
Well, you probably saw this big worm thing coming around a building. It's going to come up right here. What are they looking at? Uh-oh. Quinjet. Oh, what's that? Okay, so speculation. I mean, we know there's some aliens coming up in this. They're really being hush-hush about it. We don't know what that is, but We got Thor in the movie. We got Loki in the movie. Could that be the Midgar Serpent?
I'm wondering. But there was
Yeah.
also, they've also alluded to a bigger entity other than Loki. Now that's
And
something
could
that
that be it?
I wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, because they were talking about the Kree and the Skrull War
Yeah,
that's
they're-
coming to Earth in this movie.
Yeah, and there was talk about Thanos, but there's been announced he's not in the movie, but that doesn't mean there won't be a cameo. And I'm very glad that there's no Thanos in this.
As a major storyline.
It's too much. It's too much to pack into one movie, especially for the uninitiated people that aren't comic book
Right.
readers. It's just too much to wrap your head around. Skrulls, same thing. I think it's too much, but they get the Kree in there. You're not worrying about shape changers, and
Right.
things like that. So that could work. And I don't know. Maybe it's only as a setup for something else. We don't know what capacity this is going to be. Is this going to be a B plot line, or if this is
Right.
going to be the A plot line? It really looks like Loki is going to be the big bad in this one,
Right.
but hard to tell out of 2 minutes trailer. So
Well, we'll see what happens when it hits theaters April 27th, I want to say.
I'm not sure. I thought we were getting early May release on that one, but I don't have that up. So
I've heard it's coming out in April. I could be wrong. It
Yeah.
could be May. Still, in any case, it's going to be the jump start to the summer blockbusters, which at this stage don't seem to be all that spectacular.
Well, Amazing Spider-Man's trailer, and it was less than enthusiastic for me. I mean, I
Right.
don't know. It didn't felt like it was made for me. It felt like it was made for more of the tween audience. And maybe it'll change. Maybe it could just be the trailer. It's really hard to get that
Right.
tone out of trailers. But that one, I'm still reserving judgment on. We got Friday. We got John Carter being released.
John Carter of Mars, yeah.
Much looking forward to that. I will be talking about that next show because I will be seeing that this weekend.
Did we get passes to that, by the way?
I don't get everything.
I'm just checking.
No passes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, otherwise I'd be talking. I might actually be at the movie right now rather than on this show. So
Okay.
no passes this time around, but Disney's a little stingy.
Well, that's true. They are.
Yeah,
They're
so
not like some of the other studios.
Disney, I'm trying to give you a little bit of free. I rub your back, you scratch mine.
There you
come
go.
on, let's work here.
Now, let's talk about John Carter of Mars for a second,
Sure.
because this seems to me to have that Disney flair of, they're kind of over the topness.
Well, he
However,
lends itself well to that, though.
it seems to be, from what I've seen in the trailers, it seems pretty reminiscent of the original stories.
Yeah, and Disney's really trying to make a tentpole out of this, like they did with Pirates. They don't really have a lot of tentpoles outside of what Pixar does,
Right.
so they're trying to create some franchises here, and I think John Carter is they're banking a lot on this one. And to me, it looks really good. And for you comic book people, it's got a long history in comics and novels. He debuted in 1912, if memory serves.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And he's kind of in a way like Superman. He's the alien from Earth in Mars. He's got that different gravity, so it makes him stronger, etc. He's kind of like the first superhero of a different planet.
This is true.
There's a lot going on there. I really liked the white ape in the trailer.
Right. Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'll talk about that next show and give you a review. I'm hoping for good things on it.
All right. So
you want to talk about some of this week's releases?
Actually, let's do our little special bit first.
Oh, the special.
The special bit. We're going to wrap up with this week's releases and what's coming.
Okay.
So let me just go to. Do you want to tell people before I switch cameras?
Okay, yeah, we're going to do a little unveiling of a new product that was out this week. It is the Lock and Key game from Cryptozoic and IDW. It's based on the IDW comic book, and it's got lots of wonderful artwork by Gabriel Rodriguez, the artist from the series. I'm a big fan of this series. And looks like Joe Hill's got some input on this as well. So we're going to open up the box. I
Okay,
don't know
well,
what
let's
this is
show the
gonna
box first.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to show it. We're going to open it up. We're going to take a first look at this. I've never looked at it, so this is going to be a first look for everybody. It's out this week.
let's look at the box art is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is
it's
Gabriel
very well
Rodriguez's
done.
artwork. I do believe this is actually the cover work from the first series. You
Okay.
can see this adorned on the trade paperback.
Right.
And actually, at some point in future show, there is a guy in Maine who is making replicas of the keys.
Oh.
And I've been buying a bunch of these. I've missed a couple, but they're gorgeous.
Okay.
Some of them limited runs, some of them unlimited runs. And he's doing all this himself. They're fully licensed by Joe Hill. Some of them are signed by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez, and they're just gorgeous keys. So in a future show, I'll bring those in, and we'll show some of his work and give him some props for this.
The box art on both sides looks really, really good. So
Yeah.
we're going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to let you take the wrapper off
All right,
first. You haven't even taken the wrapper off.
No, this is
So this is a true unboxing.
This is right. This is Christmas for everybody. I'd like to share my gifts. Let's try not to cut myself.
Yeah, let's not do
That's
that.
a
Although we
little
have a
bit of
first aid
box
kit.
All right. Well, it's not a show without a little bit of blood, right?
No, that's true. On one of the other podcasts I recently did, I shed some blood for the show. So.
All right.
Yeah. That was fun. First, they didn't think I had any blood, so I might have been zombified. So now we're taking the lid off
There
the top.
we go. And we're just
We're
gonna
going to see what's inside.
that to the side. Okay. What do we got? Something in here.
We got a little art on the
Little
inside.
ad with the code. Cryptozoic Society, Big Game Hunter, register a Cryptozoic game, and unlock achievements and things like that.
Well, we don't want to give away the code, so
No, well, we're going to put that face down so nobody redeems my code.
there you go.
Because, I want my achievement unlocked. Why does everybody have to do that? Like this imaginary internet badge means something. It doesn't, people. It just means you have no time, too much time on your hands. Okay, so there's the game instruction booklet.
Looks like it's well put together.
Yeah, some more wonderful artwork by Gabriel Rodriguez.
And that's
And
explaining
there's
what
some
all the different
keys.
cards are and the keys.
Cards and keys. I imagine you're going to be unlocking doors, and like the comic, there's different abilities for different keys. As I'll keep this out, and as I find some keys here, we'll
We can
talk
explain
a
what
little
they
more
are.
about it.
Okay.
Okay, so we got to look standy here or something. Yeah, it looks like this stands up. Let's build this, eh?
All right, let's build it. Let's build it and have a look
Okay,
at it. So we
so
punch it out of the frame.
Popping out the house. All right.
I feel like a kid at Christmas.
There we go. There's the stand, crossbar.
And that is the art
That's
from the
some-
cover of the box.
Okay, so we got like a token or something here.
All right.
And it's the same on both sides. Okay, and this is just going to pop in here like this. Ta-da!
So we got a little standy now.
Okay, so we got a little standy, and that's the key house.
That's the key house.
That's the key house.
And we have
Okay,
two
so we
sets
got
of cards.
2 sets of cards, 2 decks here. And I'll hold these up before I unwrap them.
Oh, you got to get them lower on the table. There you go.
All right, so there's the artwork. Now these are 2 different decks entirely, because I know this.
Based
They
on
have
the back.
different backs. It looks like we're gonna have some great Gabriel Rodriguez.
So we've
artwork
got
through this.
Chance and what's the other one in Monopoly? We have Chance and I can't remember.
Oh,
If somebody, see, I'm getting old. That's my problem. If somebody remembers what the 2 different card piles are in Monopoly, let me know.
get in the chat and talk to us.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a whole. I'm just gonna do like a spread of cards here. So it looks like we got a bunch of the characters
Okay.
from the comic book in this deck. Let's just read one of these. And we got multiples of these cards. So here's the card I'm going to check out.
Okay.
Okay, so black 2, strength. If this black challenge is overcome, you do not win it. Score the top card of the strength deck. So, yeah, we're gonna have multiple decks going here, and
so I'm going to, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to assume that the black deck, or with the black artwork on the back, is your strength deck.
I'm thinking so. So, yeah, this one has black strength right there on the before I open this deck.
So yeah, I've never even seen this game.
And this has black strength. This is white strength over here.
Okay.
So, looks like we're going to have different suits, as it were. Flipping through these cards. Yeah, there's blue strength as well.
Okay.
So I think, you know, it feels like they're going with a Magic the Gathering model a little bit.
Most games do, though.
Yeah, and hopefully this isn't as crack-inducing.
Hey, listen, I play Magic. Not often lately, but I do play it.
Okay, we're unwrapping the next deck. Let's get that standee out of here. Let's get that box out of there. Okay, so more strength cards. Wonderful, wonderful artwork. White cards. Some blue cards.
Now, the artwork on the other deck looks different from the artwork on this deck.
It's still Gabriel Rodriguez, but these seem to be more intricate. More detail
as
going
opposed
on
to character driven, they look like they're
event
scene
driven.
based.
Yeah, these look like they're event driven.
I'm going to try and get you to slide that down a little bit into camera frame.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, here's what I was looking for.
Uh-oh, I saw foil in there.
These are the keys.
Okay, there's our key cards.
And yes, cameraman, you are allowed to move it. It looks like they got a lot of coverage. Looks like a lot of the keys are in here. Head key. Let's do the head key. This is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Okay, good shot of the head key there.
Yeah.
Okay, head key, one shot. Discard your hand and then draw that many strength cards. Now, in the comic, the head key would go in the back of your head. They would open it up, and the top of your head would open up. And what you could do, what they would do is pluck out the memories that you don't want, stick them in a bottle, cork it, and lock them back up. It's weird, but it's awesome stuff.
That's very bizarre. Actually, that sounds like a good movie.
Well, you know, there was a pilot made for last year. Unfortunately, this was Fox, so it didn't get picked up,
Right.
which is probably for the best because they would have canceled it anyway, because it's what Fox does.
That's true.
I would have really liked to have seen the show. I think it would have found a much better home over at somebody like HBO or whatever. Doesn't sound like it's dead yet. It hasn't really been leaked to the internet like the craptacular Wonder Woman pilot did. So it sounds like there might be still life. I think MTV was interested in it.
Right.
We haven't heard too much from Joe Hill lately, but maybe we'll still see it. I think it'll be a great TV series if they did it. So I hope they don't give up on it. Now here's the big mystery one. I actually have this key. I actually own the head key as well, but it didn't work.
Didn't work?
No.
Your lock was the different tumbler setup, or?
I guess. I don't know. There's a little blood though.
Yeah, that happens when you're sticking sharp objects in the back of your head.
Yeah, and some brain matter.
Yeah, not a good
So here's the Omega key. This is a major plot point in the book.
Okay.
I actually haven't got to this story yet. I've been reading them in hardcovers. IDW produces some gorgeous hardcovers of these books. And let's just read this. Okay. One shot. You may reveal this key on your turn. If you do, all strength cards that don't match the challenge add their value to the difficulty. If this challenge is failed, you score it. And so we've got a lot of these keys. Some of them are reusable. Some are one shots. Oh look, it's like a video game. There's a game over card.
Nice.
That's awesome.
You know what that reminds me of? Do you remember that old VHS video game, or VHS board game, I should say, called Nightmare?
Yeah,
Came
I
out in
do.
the
I
80s.
remember that. I always wanted to play it, but I never
never got it. So.
The guy there in that picture at the game over looks very reminiscent of what the guy looks like at the end of the game when he tells you you either won or lost.
This is like that picture was the dead guy from Key House. He's floating around. He's a nasty little ghost.
Now
so.
these keys look like they may be holographic.
Yeah, these are like the metallic foil cards. So they've done them up really nice and special and shiny.
And shiny.
Shiny.
I like shiny.
And yeah, I think the other one's like that. But that's cool. I think this game's going to be a lot of fun. We'll play test this at some point and give you a heads up on how this plays.
Maybe we'll do a show just playing.
Oh, that'll be really boring. But hey, you can watch this play.
Maybe we'll pre-tape a portion of a segment. How's that?
Okay, we'll pre-tape some stuff. We'll try to give you a feel of it and not run it long enough that you will fall asleep.
Yeah, but we don't want to fall asleep.
No. So that's a cool looking game. Go check it out. It is in stores now.
In stores now, as they say. So there you go. That's Lock and Key.
That is Lock and Key, the game from
The game.
Cryptozoic and IDW Publishing.
Oh, we'll be interested to play test this. So now we're going to start to talk about what's on shelves
this week. What came out today?
All right, so I'm buried in cards right now. All right, this week I'm just gonna pick a few. As always, there's a lot of stuff. We got the number 7s from DC showing up with that. Great new logo. But big release from DC this week was Action Comics number 7. Grant Morrison rocking that book, and a new mini series for the old Marv Wolfman Night Force book is also out this week, with art by Mandrake, who did the Spectre book back in the 90s. So it's a good matchup there, I think. I don't know much about it. It always looked like this weird Dark Shadows kind of vampire book. So we'll have to see. I mean, I'm glad DC's working with the new 52 and launching old concepts along with the new stuff, reinvigorating them for a new audience. So, don't pass up these minis when they come up. The Ray's out right now, the Shade's out right now. These are just as important as the ongoing. So you see these minis, don't pass them on the rack just because they're a mini series.
Right.
They're just as important as the big
as
ones.
any other book that's on the shelf.
That's right. And they'll be showing up in other places, so check them out. Marvel debuted with Age of Apocalypse this week. This is spinning out of X-Force by Rick Remender. It's written by David Lapham of Stray Bullets fame.
Okay.
Forgive me, I do not remember who the artist was on this book, but if it's playing off what Rick Remender was doing on Uncanny X-Force, it's going to be a really interesting book. Everybody who's read this over a decade ago now, the big X-Men event of Age of Apocalypse, will remember some of these guys like Sabretooth and Morph and whatnot. Check this out. It could be fun. It's an alternate reality X-Men. Those are usually the most fun stories that the X-Men produced. So looking forward to reading it. I haven't read it yet. So
excellent.
I haven't actually read anything this week yet. Gets busy.
Oh, well, yeah. That's the way life goes.
That's right. And DC's Vertigo, I think, launched with probably the big release for this week, the most interesting one anyway, the one everybody's asking about, is Fairest. Another spin-off from Fables with Bill Willingham. And it's got beautiful, beautiful artwork by Phil Jimenez. I'm sorry, I haven't heard your name out loud, so I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but the artwork is amazing.
Very cool.
Yes, so go check that out if you like Fables, and if you haven't even checked out Fables yet, check out this book. Should be good for anybody who likes the myth and stuff. I think it's focusing on the princess characters of the myths and fables, and as we've seen with some of them, like Cinderella, they're not what you remember. Cinderella, super spy. So check it out. I think there'll be great stuff, and those are the some of the highlights of the books on the rack this week.
Cool.
Coming up next week, since we only do this every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at this next week's list. Marvel's got... Yeah, we're going to go alphabetical because I've barely looked at this myself. Next week, Avengers Assemble, because there aren't enough Avengers books out there.
No, there aren't.
This is actually written by Brian Michael Bendis, so, you know, they're...
Now, is this going to be
this.
sort of a prequel to our new movie?
No. But
so it's
yes.
not a tie-in. Okay, so
It's
is a tie-in.
not a tie-in to the movie, but it is the cast of the movie.
Okay.
It is in continuity with the regular Marvel Universe, not the movie universe, but it is utilizing those characters
Okay.
and that lineup. How this is going to tie in with the current Avengers books, I don't know, but Brian Michael Bendis is writing most of them anyway, so I'm sure he's got it figured out. So we'll check this out.
All right.
Art by Mark Bagley, no stranger to Brian Michael Bendis and Marvel. He's literally drawn everybody and everything over there. So
Okay.
If you've read Ultimate Spider-Man and Amazing from many, many moons ago, or even Justice League most recently, good. They're always a good team up,
Sure.
Bendis and Bagley. Moving right along, we have a new issue of Buffy Season 9 next week.
Okay.
And Conan number 2, I actually haven't read number 1 yet, but Conan the Barbarian number 2 is out. This is by Becky Cloonan on art and
Okay.
Brian Wood.
Oh, wow.
This is an interesting team up. So if you're not a Conan reader, but you like fantasy and barbarian stuff, it's going to be a little bit of a different take on it, different look, different feel, but Conan the Barbarian is definitely worth a look. Here we go. Now this week I got some really cool promo. Head to your local shop. There's the Crossed pack. And what that promo pack came with was some buttons and these masks you put over your head. I should have brought one. I'm sorry. I'll bring it for next show. We'll all open the show with the cross masks on. And little temporary tattoos. And this is
nice.
in promotion of Cross Badlands, which is going to be shipping bi-weekly from Avatar. And first issue is out next week. And Crossed was something that was launched by Garth Ennis, and it's gone through a few different writers. But it's finding its audience like Walking Dead did.
Right.
And is easily Avatar's cornerstone book right now. So, and it's just apeshit madness gone... I don't even know how to... Avatar always pushes the limits of good taste. This one's not for kids, folks. So,
Okay.
you know, you're not big on the anal rape. Maybe this isn't for you.
All right. Now that we've gotten that one out of the way. A little uncomfortable.
We're getting some Doctor Who product out next week as well. So if you're into Doctor Who, there's the Bump and Go Cybermat and the TARDIS mugs and some cool things like that. Just, you know, good tchotchke stuff. What else we got that's interesting in next week? Green Lantern number 7. Now I'm curious about this one. I actually didn't. I've not done any research on this, but I always like things with Mark Twain in it. I don't know why. He's just. It was an interesting dude to me. So Mark Twain, Tales of Mystery. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is either, but I'm curious as all hell.
Interesting.
So, what else do we got coming out next week? Punisher number 9. You know, Punisher's not doing that well sales-wise, but check it out, guys. This is Greg Rucka, and he's on fire on this book. You should check it out. I mean, we're 9 issues in already, but I'm sure your shops can find some back issues for you, and trade paperback will be out soon of that material.
All right.
Don't pass it up. You know, that it's not setting the world on fire sales-wise, but it should be.
There you go.
Okay, I'm going to save my pick of the week for last. I just saw it on this list, and I think that's going to do great. Vertigo's launching a new ongoing series by Paul Cornell called Saucer Country.
Okay.
He's weird and British. And if you check out the Vertigo preview that was out a few weeks ago, it's in there. I love Vertigo books. I always have. They're always the stuff I save for last because they're never a disappointment. I think Saucer Country could be another one of those great Vertigo books. So don't pass that one up if you see it on the shelf. I think it's going to be a good one. And my pick of the week, Brian K. Vaughan and friend of the show, Fiona Staples on Saga is out next week from Image Comics. It's going to be a big release, so definitely pick that one up.
Well, that's on my reading list for sure. I want to show that on the next show.
And we're seeing book after book after book being launched from Image, only to sell out, to fetch big money on eBay and get reprinted.
Correct.
So, you know, how many times you guys kicked yourself in the ass for not picking up that book? Don't do it this time. Pick up Saga. Supports local talent in that book. And it's Brian K. Vaughan. He never disappoints. Why the Last Man was a great read, as well as Ex Machina and the Runaways book for Marvel.
Right.
So Saga is easily my pick of the week, probably the pick of the month. So check it out. Not to be missed.
Now, just before we wrap up, we should give our nod, like we do every show, to the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo.
That's right.
Which is happening April 27th to the 29th here in Calgary at the BMO Center, or the BMO Center.
Did you see the big announcements last week? I mean, we've had big announcements.
We've had big announcements.
Big announcements, but I was really happy to see this one. Bernie Wrightson's coming.
Yes, he is.
Legendary Bernie Wrightson, you know, so drag out your Swamp Things, your Frankenstein books, come down to Calgary and get those signed.
And for those of you that listen to the show and have not heard about the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo, we have a great lineup of guests coming. I'm going to go just into the artists and creators right now. We've got the 4040s are coming. Who else is coming here? We've got Katie Cook, we've got Chris Craddock, Jeff Darrow, Peter David, John Gallagher, Phil Hester, Stan Lee.
Wow, Stan Lee, legendary Stan Lee is coming.
Stan the Man Lee is
created
coming.
All those Marvel icons, co-created.
Tony Moore will be here.
Of Walking Dead fame, Fear Agent, and most recently Venom. So check it out.
One of my
Walking Dead might be
favorite.
a little of a sore spot with them. Get it signed, but maybe not talk about it too much.
We'll screw that one down, down low, as they
him
say.
and Kirkman are having some issues. So.
We also have George Perez coming.
George Perez.
Super excited.
Easily my favorite artist in the world. I'm very stoked. I'm already starting to pick things out to get signed. He is going to see me every day. And you know, hey, if you don't have it, grab your Hulk Future Imperfects. Written by Peter David, art by George Perez. That's a twofer in one show, guys.
Yeah, easy. And Mark Texeira is coming.
Or Saxon Violence.
He didn't make it last year, unfortunately, but he will be here this year. And Ty Templeton is coming as well.
Oh, yes, and he's been involved in more comics than I can name. So.
And a couple of quick announcements for those of you that
into the media guys.
Are into the media guys. We have Adam Baldwin coming, who does a lot of voiceover work in cartoons, as well as he was on Firefly.
That's right.
And also on Chuck, if I am not...
most recently Chuck.
Yeah, and John Bernthal is coming from The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And the big news is the entire cast of The Next Generation...
That's right.
Is coming.
Everybody.
From Captain Picard all the way down to Wesley Crusher will be here.
That's right.
So
Will
the good...
Wheaton. Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. We have some wrestling guests coming as well. Not that that's a big thing for us, but, you know, there's some wrestling guests coming as well as Robert Englund.
Robert Englund.
The original Freddy Krueger. Gil Gerard, Buck Rogers in 25th Century, and Richard Hatch, who played the original Apollo in Battlestar Galactica. So go check it out.
Who are you most looking forward to seeing?
Other than Stan Lee?
Yeah, other than Stan Lee. I mean, you know, he's going to be a number one on everybody's list of comic book readers.
Well, Stan Lee is number one on my list.
Yeah.
George Perez is number 4 on my list.
4?
Number 4, yeah.
4?
Yeah.
What the... Who's above George Perez?
Well, Adam West would be number 2.
okay, well, everybody loves that Paunch.
Adam West is number 2, and number 3 is going to be David Prowse if he can make it this year.
If he has, he did cancel last year. Was
Yeah.
he announced for this year's show?
He has been announced
He's
for this
announced
year's
this
show. Yeah, he's
I know
on the list.
He hasn't been doing too well, so hopefully he'll make it this year. There was a cancellation on the show
Yes.
this year. We were supposed to get Felton,
Yes.
the kid from Harry Potter.
Yeah, he had to back
He had to
out.
bow out. He got an acting gig, but he's also backed out of Fan Expo and
Right.
Emerald City, so he's not snubbing us.
No.
He's just got work. So
He's got work.
he-
Take work
he-
where you can get it.
That's right, and he's already said he wants to make it to the next go round. So there's a good chance Tom Felton will be here. Is
There
it
you
Tom
go.
Felton?
Yes, Tom Felton.
Tom
yeah.
Felton for next
He
year.
played
so-
the
Malfoy.
Malfoy.
Yeah, that's right. The evil little brat.
Yeah, who ended up redeeming himself by the end of the
Yeah,
third movie, or last movie.
That's right, and then he went back to evil in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, there you go. So we are now at the end of our show. I want to thank you for joining us for our first episode of Between the Pages, but our third episode of the old show. And you can
So
find us
take whatever number
at
you want.
nakedapeprod.com. Please go there, check us out. You can watch past episodes, and you can also check out some of the other programming there. And if you need to send us or want to send us some suggestions or diatribes, or just tell us how ugly we look on camera, you can send that to betweenthepages@nakedapeprod.com. And
You
that's
know,
at the bottom of your screen.
We're 3 episodes in. How did we already get on Marvel numbering?
I have no idea.
We've already rebooted.
It's the way it goes.
It happens.
Again, thank you everybody for joining.